Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day. In this video I'm going to be covering Superman, who happens to be the members' pick of the month. He made his very first appearance in Action Comics Volume 1, Issue 1, that was released in June 1938. His Kryptonian birth name is Kal-El, while his legal human name is Clark Joseph Kent, standing 6 feet 3 inches tall and weighing 235 pounds, having blue eyes and black hair. Now, Superman is unquestionably the most powerful being to call Earth home, and is likewise one of the most powerful beings in the entire DC multiverse. His wide range of abilities stem from his Kryptonian physiology being able to absorb multiple forms of energy, particularly the radiation from a main sequence yellow star, such as our sun. This affords him nearly immeasurable, vast superhuman strength, which can also manifest as a conscious manipulation of matter's energy fields, and vast superhuman speed, agility, and reflexes, being fast enough to keep up with most speedsters, although being just a bit slower. He also has immeasurable stamina and self-sustenance, being able to operate indefinitely as long as he's powered by yellow solar radiation. Superman also has senses that are completely off the charts, with his vision being particularly adept, being able to see in the complete electromagnetic spectrum, as well as having microscopic, telescopic, and X-ray vision. Not to mention that he can turn this around and fire intense beams of energy from his eyes, known as heat vision, which itself had more recently evolved into a new super flare ability, wherein he can explosively expel all of his stored solar radiation into the world around him. Although this has typically only been used as a last resort attack, due to it leaving him virtually powerless for an extended period of time until he can recharge. To go on, he can fly by manipulating gravitic waves. He also has an extremely extended lifespan, and for all intents and purposes is virtually invulnerable, although he does have a low-level healing factor if you're lucky enough to injure him, which is made easier to do if you're aware of his weaknesses, being that he's vulnerable to magic, the Kryptonian mineral known as kryptonite, and certain instances of sensory overload, in addition to his powers slowly waning away if he's kept from absorbing viable energy sources. But even in the instances that we've seen him without his superhuman powers, he's still been a formidable superhero due to his genius-level intellect and his advanced hand-to-hand combat training, which he's received from the likes of Wonder Woman, Batman, and his personal study of various earthly and alien disciplines, all while having an indomitable will to boot. Now, many years ago, Superman's home planet of Krypton was on the verge of destruction, being plagued by various earthquakes and other natural disasters that, by the way, we now know were caused by Rogol Zaar. Back then, Krypton was a very advanced civilization that was revolving around a red sun. This world quickly descended into chaos, and although his scientist father, Jor-El, petitioned the Kryptonian Council to evacuate the planet, he was dismissed as an alarmist, which left Jor-El and his wife Laura with no other choice than to plan the evacuation of their only son, baby Kal-El. Jor-El's research had led him to realize that Earth's yellow star would supercharge his son's cells, and afford him unbelievable powers that he would never have on Krypton. And so just before their planet was destroyed, baby Kal-El was loaded into a small ship that was programmed to carry him to our small blue rock. The little ship would make its long journey and happened to crash on a Kansas farm owned by Jonathan and Martha Kent, a childless couple who was eager to have a baby, they seemingly getting their wish from the sky. They would name this human-looking little boy Clark Kent and raise him in their hometown of Smallville with the perfect moral upbringing. Needless to say, as he got older, he would eventually realize that he was much different from his peers, getting extremely strong and fast, as well as never getting sick. Even into high school, he would keep his powers to himself, running with his friends Pete Ross and Lana Lang, while avoiding his nosy and difficult older fellow student named Lex Luthor. Clark wouldn't even discover that he could fly until he rescued his friend Lana during a tornado during the county fair, soon thereafter realizing that his powers were too big just to contain in Smallville. Growing into adulthood, he would further realize that truth and justice were important, and would be inspired to report the truth on a daily basis, moving to Metropolis and working as a journalist with the Daily Planet, where he would meet his iconic boss Perry White, as well as his fellow reporter in future romance Lois Lane. Oh, and I can't forget the young photographer Jimmy Olsen. Clark would quickly become comfortable with hiding his massive natural strength behind his Midwestern country honesty and a subtle pair of eyeglasses, being humble almost to a fault. Matter of fact, he wouldn't receive his grandiose title Superman until one day when he was tagging along with Lois to investigate one of Lex Luthor's latest enterprises, and he had to leap into action to save Lois, who had been knocked off of a rooftop ledge, quickly changing into his blue and red costume with the S-shaped crest of L on his chest, then swooping in to rescue not only Lois Lane, but a falling helicopter as well. Lois was so awestruck that she would coin the name Superman, which would take over the headlines of the next day's articles. Superman's heroic feats would make him an overnight sensation, inspiring other heroes and metahumans to come out from the shadows and work in the open to help society, although certain military and federal authorities were quite nervous over this powerful new being. However, some of this concern would be put to rest after the alien Darkseid invaded Earth, and Superman joined up with Batman, Wonder Woman, and others to form the very first incarnation of the Justice League. From here, Superman would go on to fight countless threats over the years, from conniving billionaires like Lex Luthor to the hijinks of the fifth-dimensional imp named Mr. Mxyzptlk, not to mention organized attacks from General Zod and other surviving Kryptonians. Yet one of his greatest challenges would come in a package named Doomsday, with Superman actually being killed just to defeat the powerful beast. But this demise wouldn't last forever, because with the help of Kryptonian technology and a link to his earthly father, Jonathan Kent, Supes would eventually return to life, counting his blessings and going on to marry his love, Lois Lane. Everything was good for a while until a few bumps in the road came after he suffered a power change, which made him temporarily become a being of pure energy, commonly known as Superman Blue, albeit he would eventually return to his normal form. Superman would go on to have many different solo and team adventures from here, even becoming a father after Lois bore his son named Jonathan Samuel Kent. But regardless of his duties as a family man or a leader in the Justice League, Superman will always quickly commit to pursuing the right thing and finding a way to produce successful results. Now, for his powers and abilities and his influence on the DC universe, as well as pop culture as a whole, for my 1 to 10 rating, I'll give Superman Clark Kent a rating of 10, which is a legendary rating. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, and join the new Sage.